Hello, I'm XUTT and today I'm going to talk about the mockumentary comedy film Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, celebrating the 10th anniversary of its premiere. It is the work of trio of comedians known as the Lonely Island. They gained fame for their work on Saturday Night Live. They co-wrote the script, two of them, Akiva Schaffer and Jonathan Cohn directed, and all of them starred in the film. I wrote the lead role and most of the screen time was taken by the non-director, Andy Samberg. It's a mockumentary, a film described as a documentary, focusing, as the title suggests, on a pop star. I already have two such films in my True Takes database, but they were serious. Backstreet Boys, Show Them What You Are Made Of, and Justin Bieber, Never Say Never. They focusing on the characters in their titles. They were cool, but too nice. This film perfectly parodies this. It has all the elements you'd expect, but pushed it to the absurd. Like, successful people have always been exceptional, but here it's mocked by a scene showing how the protagonist, Connor, was musically talented and played the drums brilliantly at the age of just 1. Actually, now that I think about it, there are two kinds of documentaries. The self-proclaimed documentaries, which are meant to promote a person or a group, and that's what the film mocks. And the second kind are works of passion, usually created by outsiders, and I also have some of these in my database. Things like the program I've read about many times on this channel, Turtle Power, the definitive history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but also the Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, or Doomed, the untold story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. I won't summarize the entire film, but we have basically everything you expect. A difficult beginning, initial success, initial problems, and a falling out between friends, further success, then a slow decline. But with a happy ending and a positive twist at the end. It's quite obvious plot, which was to the creators' advantage, as they didn't have to create the artificial drama that usually happens in this type of documentaries. The main character is presented in a humorous way, as a self-absorbed asshole who, because of his success, believes he is always right and that whatever he does must work. Which reminds me a bit of Kevin Eastman, minus the fact about the asshole, of course, but that's a topic I will be covering in the video dedicated to him. And going back to the topic, the main character is an asshole, but dumb. I get into the plot and by the end, I feel sorry for him. Because the movie isn't an over-the-top parody, after all, like Scary Movie or something. You can get emotionally invested in it, in Connor's relationship with Owen, his friend, or with Harry, his manager. Connor's character was well captured in the basketball scene, where he blindly threw the ball behind himself. He missed it, but everyone congratulated him on his success. And this scene actually leads to another scene much later, where he deliberately makes bad pancakes to see who would tell him they were bad and who would praise him for them. Arrow, of course, Connor is what he is. So he used dog shit for his test, which caused him to overdo it and Owen breaks up relation with him. In fact, the only element of the film that really feels so soft to me were the CMZ segments, which I rated were a parody of TMZ. I don't know the original, so maybe that's why I can appreciate that. What I really liked is the respectful treatment of the viewer. Some jokes are left unexplained. Connors read reviews of his single and found almost only bad ones, with only one positive one on The Onion, which leads him to conclude that it's okay, that the reviews are mixed and not all negative. And the creators don't bother explaining, here, it's a joke. If you know what The Onion is, you will smile. If you don't, you are clueless as the character. That's nice. Since we are discussing the movie on this channel, of course, there has to be a turtle in it. The main character has a pet turtle named Maximus, and he has a few scenes here. We meet his caregiver and everything. Connor thinks he got him from his mom. Finally, where he is feeling down, he watches a recording from his childhood birthday where he gets Maximus. And he realizes that he actually got it from his friends, Owen and Lawrence. In a sense, the turtle is a hugely important element of the film, pushing the protagonist to action. We also have a sad scene, because Maximus unfortunately dies. And Connor being unable to go with him for help because the place is blocking his house is a very sad scene. The film is also interesting if you look at the list of characters who appear here. And I don't mean the actors playing the roles, but the people who are here as himself or as herself. And the list is enormous. 50 Cent, Simon Cowell, Adam Levine, Mariah Carey, Ringo Starr, Nas, Usher, ASAP, DJ Khaled, Martin Sheen, Snoop Dogg, Jimmy Fallon, Danger Mouse, Seal, Pharrell Williams. A whole bunch of people you could definitely call stars. I forgot about them. When I was rewatching this movie for this recording, I saw 50 Cent and was like, what the shell? Is this for real? I checked IMDb to see if it was him and saw the entire compilation above, and I have no more questions. Enough about the movie. Now let's move on to the physical releases. I have the Blu-ray edition myself. By judging by the photos of the DVD release, it has the same set of extras. And there are quite a few extras. It's practically a second film worth of the deleted content. First, there are 23 deleted scenes. And they are very diverse. Some are neutral, some good that they were cut, but with some, it's a shame that you can see them in the movie. For example, there is a great scene from rehearsals. At last, they could have left us the part where Connor announced the deal with Aquaspin. There is a great scene with a turtle in the video chat with Ashley. Tully arrives on tour is a sad scene, adding some depth to Connor, who can't share his success with his mother because she prefers to party. Lauren's visit is another great scene, adding depth. Lauren says a lot of wise things to Owen, who wants to help/save Connor. In second huddle, we see Hunter talking about Poppy Awards and Connor is sad. Another great scene. The scene with Aquaspin firing is interesting. The problem turned out to be Connor having sex while leaving a guy's grief from their rival company. Queen Canera is the most moving of the deleted scenes. I got chills. It was something different. I'm glad it's available. I understand why it wasn't in the film. It was a bit too heavy for its otherwise light-hearted tone. Cube Theory is an interesting sequence, but I'd say it was a bit overdone at times. So it's good that it was cut. I'm not sure how I feel about the next two B-attack scenes. I think they could have added more nice humor to the movie. They could also have left the Donald Sparrow sequence, clearly showing how Connor's decline continues. That's a ton of extra material, and we are just getting started. We also get 9 minutes of bonus footage. Most of it, I'm okay with it being cutted. But I smiled, for example, during the scene where they mock Connor talking about surprises on Wednesday and the absurdity of announcing of something that's supposed to be a surprise. It also shows more of Connor's and Hunter's initial bonding, showing them spontaneously together for their first time on the stage. It's cool, but there are fewer glimpses compared to the deleted scenes. And that's still not all, as we got 5 more scenes from CMZ. The 4th one is about Maximus' death, not very fun for me, and it includes reference to the TV series Entourage. Overall, the CMZ segments in the film didn't resonate with me, the extras ones aren't any better, so it's good they weren't included. The next 7 minutes are interview outtakes, but these aren't interviews with the actors, but rather snippets featuring stars like Ringo Starr, 50 Cent and other real-life figures, which, as I mentioned, are plentiful in the film. Here we have an additional 7 minutes of these scenes, a nice addition, but none of them really wowed me. And then there are a few more standalone scenes, like How to Do Donkey Roll, Frog G's, Shooting Hops, Sex Tape, Tan Am the Beef backstory, nice as an extra, but the film doesn't lose anything for their absence. Finally, we got full-length music videos for 6 songs mentioned in the film. I'm a Weirdo, Equal Rights, Mona Lisa, Bin Laden, and Visualize It. Bin Laden is my favorite. There is not much non-filmic content on the disc. In fact, there's only a 3-minute gag reel with various bloopers from the set, and a movie-long audio commentary with Akira Schaffer, Jimmy Taccone, and Andy Samberg, aka the Lonely Island trio. There are some cool things there. For example, they poke fun of how the audio commentary sometimes simply describe what's on screen. They also jokingly describe a bit of what's on screen. But we also got a lot of real trivia, like the information that many of the scenes showing crowds at concert are from One Direction concerts. Then in the scene that I now show you on the screen, we see in the background the clock tower from Back to the Future, and that the ATV scene was created to their earlier film, Hot Rod, but they only now have the opportunity to use it. And the film itself can be viewed in the Afro-American edition or by purchasing it online. According to the Just Watch service, in the US it's not available in any streaming service as a regular installment, only through rent or buy options. For Canada or Poland, it's the same story. In other countries, you have to check it for yourself. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!